an intro. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Melinda Cologne,
And I'm Asia Dore.
and we're here to just serve and talk about this one thing that we hear all the time from our clients. You're not stuck. You're just not strategically aligned. Ooh.
It's such a good reframe. As soon as you said that when we were talking about doing this, I was like, yes, that's what it is. You really are never actually stuck.
Never. The world will tell us that the world, our situation, our physical, situation, like what's around us, our environment will say that. But if we realize that we can control our environment, we can control our minds, we can control our thoughts, it's just, it allows us to kind of break free from what's been holding us back. And you know what? Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about mindset. This is actually not in our script, but I just felt the need to do this. Oh, I know. I'm just like going off script, Melinda going off script. Like, what's new, right? But the truly, like, if you are just like leaning into this season of I am stuck, I can't accomplish my goals, I don't know where to go, or I am starting to see opportunities, and I don't believe that I am the right fit for it. Listen in, lean in. We're gonna just help you unbreak and unblock those things. And the truth of the matter is, it's all about strategy. I kind of just like, I love that. Okay, so yeah, because that's why we connected. Like Asia and I were just, she came on our Legacy Builders Unleashed podcast, and we were just geeking out about strategy. And then afterwards, we were geeking out about strategy more. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we have to serve people in this way because it's very, her and I just know like it's not often where you find people who are leaning all the way into who they are and just like letting that breathe, just becoming that identity a little bit more and more every day. So we want to share this with you and kind of like break your brain a little bit, move the furniture around, and hopefully give you some insight, some clarity, some motivation, some movement so that you can keep moving forward in your life. So this is this. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just, since you're going off script, like, okay, we had this beautiful layout, and then Melinda's like, nope, which I love. But I love that you brought up mindset because that is a piece of it, right? We have to start there. If we're not right in here, we can't do the things out here. But we need both. We need the mindset, but then we also need to do the things. So I'm really excited to have this conversation today because I feel like we're covering so much of both the internal and the external side of being stuck.
So well said, Asia. So well said. The interior and the exterior. Because like those are two pieces that talk to each other all the time. We just don't realize it.
Yep.
Because and that's what feels stuck. It's in strategist mind, when we feel stuck, it means that we're not producing communication. Like we're not creating the book, we're not creating the system. We need to download so that we can make space. And so if you resonate with that, let us know, comment in the chat. I saw my friend Dory in the chat. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here. And anybody here, just go ahead and comment below. We would love to just to shout you out. But truly, it really is just like, how can you get out of your own way? Like a lot of the things that we're saying to ourselves, a lot of the ideas we have, and they could be completely bigger than who we are, right? We're just like, I'm just a regular person with a regular following on social media, with a regular email list. And how can I, like, that dream is too big. It's not for me. Maybe one day. And here's the truth of the matter. this, that the blessing or like the miracle on the other side, that dream, that desire, that was planted intentionally for you. And so all you have to do is break through and over fear. Just say, fear can be in the car. It just needs to be in the back seat, right? But fear is just something to remind you like, hey, I'm just going to protect you from what's on the other side of what you don't know. But that doesn't have to stop you from transforming into someone you haven't yet met. Like, it's okay to just keep moving forward and just kind of delighting and welcoming new opportunities. Cause then after a while, your fear, like the fear in the back seat is just like, "Ooh, I'm getting excited about celebrating these new opportunities. I am like, what's the next surprise?" Because the last couple of surprises really just just kind of made me feel so good, made me feel happy, and the fear then turns into, something that's not overpowering and loud, but something that you can easily just put in your pocket and be like, "When I want you to come out, you'll come out." Right? Just kind
Yes.
of regaining your permission and your control.
It can be in the car, but it doesn't get to say where we're going.
No. It's like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we should have turned there. We should have done that. Why are we going on this trip? Like, why are we leaving home? Well, home is so comfortable. Home is where everything is. Everything is easy. I don't wanna go into something that's gonna be difficult. What if we don't make it there?" All of these things are it's just anxiety because it's not real, right? It's not real. And what's real is permission to transform your life. And you have that right now. Even before we opened our mouths, you already had it. Now we're just going to help you unlock it and control it. Would that be okay? Go ahead and comment below if that would be okay. If we just gave you that today in our in our conversation today.
You don't need our permission, but you're going to get it anyway.
I know. I used to be like that a lot too in corporate America and be like, okay, I need to go, like, I'm thinking about doing this thing. So I need to go talk to so and so about it before I do it because I'm just like afraid.
Mhm.
And man, what a lie. I'm learning to just kind of say, fear, go away, and just say what's audacious, what's authentic, and it's a lie. We don't need to ask for permission. We've already been given every blessing we need to fulfill the biggest purpose in the world that we have. So, ooh, all right, we totally went off script. Let's try if we can go back a little bit because I think it's really worth it for everybody to know who we are.
I think that's a great place to start, Melinda. But sometimes when we're inspired to say something, we got to say it because who knows who needs to hear it, right? So I'm
Mm,
with you, off script or on script. I'm here with you. But yeah, let's start by talking about kind of who we are and why we're here today to talk about this stuff. My name is Asia Dorr. I am a brand strategist and I help entrepreneurs communicate the value of their work and also the depth of their work so that they can
mm,
position themselves as experts in their industry. The truth is, it doesn't matter how brilliant you are at what you do, which is kind of a feels like sort of a rude thing to say because I know a lot of people who are watching this are really brilliant at what they do, but it doesn't really matter because if your people don't understand what it means for them, they're just not going to care, right? It's human nature. We're selfish. It's not anything against you. They're thinking about themselves. So I've been in business for a decade, and I've learned that your ability to really leverage and communicate your expertise starts with developing a really solid brand strategy. If you want to cut through all of the noise with your content, if you want to grab the attention of your ideal clients, and if you want to make decisions in your business that lead to actual progress and momentum, it all starts with brand strategy. And I'm
mm,
not claiming that brand strategy is the solution to every single problem in business by any means. But what I will stand by 100% is that if you do feel stuck or stagnant, brand strategy is always the very best place to start. We talked about the internal, external stuff. There is external brand strategy, but it starts with knowing the stuff inside. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like if you are like, imagine you're in a kitchen, you're standing in a kitchen, you have your apron on and you are starving. And
Mm.
there's food everywhere, right? There's ingredients everywhere. You've got your flowers, your strawberry, your steak, your,
Oh, oh
your
my
yeast,
gosh.
I don't know, the salt. You
Sounds
have all the
delicious.
ingredients in front of you. And you just start pouring stuff into bowls and you're mixing,
Mm.
and you got the oven on and the microwave's beeping, and there's all this activity and you're doing so much, like you're busy, right?
Mm.
But
Ooh.
half an hour later, all you have is a bunch of ingredients in different bowls. You don't actually have a meal. And I like to think of brand strategy as your recipe. Really,
Mm.
it's where you're going and it's also what you need to get there. So if you're standing in the
Mhm.
kitchen hungry, you have all the ingredients, great. You also have your recipe now, so you know what to put in the bowl so that you can make whatever it is you're trying to make.
Ooh, and you have I love that analogy so I can imagine what that looks like. What a mess. I mean,
It's so
just like
messy.
and then then the kids come in and the husband is like, "So what? I'm hungry. Everybody's hungry." And then all of a sudden the pressure builds and it's just like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have anything." You're upset and frustrated. And he's just like, "No, we need a branding plan, the recipe." Because then the recipe tells us the temperature, how much of each ingredient, how to prepare the ingredients. Because y'all know, let me lean in. For those that think that they're bakers and cookers and they bake like they cook and they cook like they bake, yeah, your cakes and your pies are delicious, but they're not where they need to be. They're not at perfection because 'cause you're just, like, eyeing it. I do it, that's why I'm calling myself out, but the recipe so that you could repeat that meal over and over and over again, and it can become yours. It's
Yeah,
yours now.
yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
so
And
good.
so much faster and more efficiently too. You don't need to dirty all of the bowls.
Yeah.
You just need what you need. You make the recipe and then you get out. But tell us about you, Melinda.
Oh man. So like many people in my audience, I'm an ex-corporate professional. I was in corporate America for nearly 20 years as a marketing and procurement professional, and I completely burnt out. I remember I was on my way home one night and I just had a bad experience, and years later I just said, you know what, or a few days later I just said, you know what, I can't do this to myself. I can't live within someone else's framework and try to fit myself into what they want for their purpose. I have some big dreams, some big goals, and I was feeling really stuck. So that I just kind of relied on the clock. You know what I mean? Like you kind of just go home and you look at the clock and it's 7 o'clock. So you make dinner. And then once you're done with dinner, you clean up and you look at the clock, it's 10 o'clock. And that tells you, basically dictates what you do every single day. And so the most valuable asset that we have in our lives is time. And I was at a point where I was just kind of looking at the clock and it was telling me, giving me permission to live, and I knew that that had to change. I knew that I had to transform my life. And so I went all in after 13 years of freelancing on the side. So painful to say at 13 years, but I went all in my business. And soon enough, in my first year, I went from 0 to 6 figures easy. I mean, simple, straightforward. And since then, I've helped so many of my clients win government contracts over $4.4 billion worth, and
Wow.
also have been an awarded marketer because of this craft, because of this expertise, and built relationships with like people I see on TV. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, it just kind of breaks my brain every once in a while when I think about the relationships that were built just because I gave my permission to grow. And I share this not to impress anyone, but to let you know that it's if you're a visionary who feels stuck, it doesn't mean that you're not ready. It just means your next move requires more alignment and less hustle. Because hustle isn't what what most people think it's like the song or this theme or this belief, like hustle is hard, right? And so if I'm in alignment with God and like his glory, then everything is at ease. And so I really have been practicing or just like listening to what that is and like what is flow? Flow is actually relinquishing control and focusing on just my part in the mastery of that. And it might seem really kind of too simple, right? But it really is the formula for success. And so I help my clients do that, whether they're starting out in business and they need a formula to get to six figures like I did, or winning government contracts and adding a revenue stream of millions of dollars consistently year after year, month after month. Whatever that might be, I help them understand that there is flow a part of that equation. And once they can stop trying to do all the things and have all the businesses and all the systems in place before they actually serve, I mean, it's just like you could see the pressure just roll right off their shoulders and they just step into their identity. They're lighter, they're happier, they're more joyful. And for me, that's a gift all in itself.
That's such an amazing origin story. Um, Not just because of like how long you were in the corporate America world and then finally decided, okay, gonna do this now, because it's a hard decision, especially when
Mhm,
you're technically doing everything right, you have your safe
mhm.
job. But I really love it because I feel like the messaging for entrepreneurship is like, oh, don't you want more freedom with your time? Don't you want more freedom with
Ooh,
your life? And like, yes, absolutely, we want that. But I think there's another layer of that, which I wish more people talked about. And I'm sure you and I agree with this, but probably everyone who found their way here is
mm,
that what we also want is freedom in our work.
let's go.
We want to decide, this is my purpose, this is why I'm here, this is what I'm good at, this is my skill set, this is how I can and want to help people, so I'm going to build my business around that instead of
Oh yeah.
showing up to help a corporation achieve their mission. And
Yeah.
it's so empowering as an entrepreneur to be able to do that. But how often do we just take what we've learned from working for someone else and apply those same rules, those arbitrary rules, to our own businesses? And I think that's another reason why sometimes we start to feel stuck, is because we're playing by somebody else's rules, because that's just
Yeah.
what we've been conditioned to do. Right. But when we can break free of that and decide, oh, like, yeah, I have freedom in my time, but I also have freedom in my work. I can do whatever the hell I want. Let me figure out what it is that I want so that I can shape my business around it.
Yes. So good. You know what? Okay, off script again. Um, so I remember there was a time where I wanted to read a lot of books. And I actually talked about this in my Facebook group. I wanted to read a lot of books. Like I just, everybody was like, the wealth is in the books and you got to read more to learn more and serve more. And I'm just like, yeah, I want to do that. And I'd go on Amazon and I had an entire wish list of all these books. Anytime someone said, this is a good book, read it, I put it into my wish list. And I remember it was like around the Christmas time. And my husband was like, what do you want? And I was like, just go on my wish list and get me as many books as possible. Well, he did. He's a great husband. We're actually celebrating 9 years of
Oh,
marriage tomorrow.
oh
So
wow.
it's
Early
just like,
congratulations.
thank you so much. So he's just amazing. And so he like all these books show up. And so I'm like, okay, the pressure was on. The pressure was on to read all these books. And I just didn't like I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't understand how I was going to read them. And this is what I'm so glad that what you just said is everybody's path is going to look different. It's just how we take the information and apply it to our lives. And this is why, like, hiring a coach, hiring someone to guide you is so crucial, because if you're trying to do it on your own, you're going to miss pieces that are necessary for you to move forward. And so I'm just like stuck with all these books. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? I want to read all these books. They just sit on my desk. They're giving me anxiety because I want to read the books, but I don't know how to read them. You know what I mean? Like what order to put them, what's priority, and all these things. And then also multitask, right? Just like, okay, I want to. And so I took a step back. I actually put them back all on the shelf and I walked away from it. I knew that I needed to release it. And I remember the day so clearly. And I sat there, I was at my desk and I was working on my next business plan for the year. And I thought to myself, you know what? I really would love to learn more about X. Well, I went to my shelf and I had 3 books on that topic. And I picked them up and I read them. And when I read them fast and I applied them immediately. And this is the practice of learning, right? And so I was like, oh, I read 3 books in 3 days. Okay, so what's the next thing that I need to learn? And that's how I did it. Last year in 2024, I read over 30 books just because I followed that plan. Years before, I would read maybe like 2 or 3 books, like 4 books maybe, but nowhere near the goal that I had set for myself, until I realized that instead of trying to consume a ton of stuff for the next time or the moment that I'm gonna need it, I just allowed myself the permission to just create get clear on my purpose, my journey, my vision for the future, and then figure out what I needed to get there. And you know what's really crazy, Asia, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, is it actually helped me see what alignment was. Like, it helped me see what alignment was. And so when I was in the moment and I'm like, I need this thing, my brain just focused on the one thing. And so instead of focusing on all of the books and how I wanted to read all of them, I just focused on the information that I wanted or needed at the time. And I was able to consume that faster. And so it's just the craziest thing. I'm glad they were on my shelf, right? Because then I can just pull them. But I'm glad that I didn't surround myself with things that were just going to cause me confusion and stress and overwhelm. I allowed myself permission to say, I will get you when I need you. You are there, you're present, you're available. I'll grab you when I need you and apply you to my journey opposed to trying to follow someone else's.
What a brilliant real life example of feeling completely overwhelmed and stuck by like what's going on externally. And then being like, okay, hold on, rein it in, go inside, internal, figure out what it is you want, and then go do the things. That's like a perfect example of what that looks like.
It felt really good.
Amazing.
It felt
Thanks
really
for
good,
sharing
and it
that
went
story. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, let's talk about, like, what stuck really looks like for people.
I think that's a good like place to go next because it can look like a lot of things and it can even worse than look like it can feel like a lot of things, like a lot of bad things, because when you're ambitious and you're an entrepreneur you want to keep it moving, right? You want to keep
Mhm,
achieving, you want to keep meeting goals, you want to keep making progress, and when you're in that sort of liminal space, or you don't even feel in a space, you're just like there's nowhere for me to go, it can be
mm,
hard to move forward, right? So a lot of people think that that is a motivation problem, that they're
mm,
lazy, that they don't want it bad enough, that they don't have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, right? Or even like you were saying earlier, like, oh well, this, like, what I want is so big, my purpose feels so big and I'm just me, so like who am I to do this? Um, so motivation is fickle, right? We can't rely on that at all. So a lot of people think it's a motivation problem, but it's actually typically a strategy problem, which is
mhm.
really why we connected on this idea and why we're here to talk about that today, because obviously we're both strategists. So for my clients, feeling stuck or being stuck or feeling stuck or both often looks like working really, really hard and doing all of the things kind of like Melinda and buying all of her books. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing things, I'm being productive, I'm staying busy, but you're not actually growing, right? You're not actually making that progress. And the reason for that is because you simply don't know where you're going, right? Like we talked about the recipe. You don't have a recipe. You have all these ingredients. You're completely capable. You maybe even have all this time, right? But if you don't know where you're going, of course, you're not going to be able to make progress to get there. Another thing that happens is the overthinking. And I have a little bit of a problem with that word because I don't really
Oh.
think there's such a thing as overthinking. Maybe that's a topic for another time. I think that when we overthink, we just don't have enough information to move forward. But for the sake of this, we'll
Mm.
call it overthinking, right? Where you're like essentially spinning and can't make any decisions. I think that's really what
Mm.
overthinking comes down to is you can't make a decision. And the reason I found for that is really because you don't trust yourself. And
Wow. Yeah.
self-trust is a complicated and heavy subject, and there's a lot of nuance to that. But I will
Yeah.
say that when you recognize yourself and you recognize your expertise, you recognize what you're really good at in this world, you own your skill set, and you're not sorry about that, right? You're not even
Mhm.
humble about that. Um, that builds self-trust because if you don't recognize yourself as an expert, how are other people supposed to, right? You kind of set the
Mhm.
bar and the standard for how you want people to treat you and how you want people to see you. Which of course, brand strategy is the solution to that because it allows you to package up your expertise in a way that makes sense to you and other people. And the last thing that I'll mention is really just feeling like no inspiration and just sort of aimlessly lost and
Mm.
wandering in the world of entrepreneurship. And
Yeah.
typically the reason for that is because you don't actually have an end goal and a mission.
Oh.
A lot of corporations will have these mission statements that are just like total word salad. Like they don't,
Bye-bye show.
right. Like they don't actually mean anything. Like it's kind of hilarious if you just go to a corporation's website and look at their mission statement. It's like, what does this mean? A
Yeah.
mission has to be specific and achievable. Like when
Yeah.
you're in business working towards your mission, it needs to be like, this is the thing I'm trying to achieve. And once it's achieved, I can close my business because the
Yeah.
problem will be solved, right? That's what a
Mhm.
mission needs to do. And that's not a bad thing. So if you're kind of feeling like you're lost, it's probably because again, you don't know what that end goal is. You don't know what you're really trying to achieve, not just for like yourself, your income, your own achievements, but for your business and the change that you're trying to make.
Mm.
Um, but in addition to it being a strategy problem, Melinda, do you have anything to add in terms of like what else feeling stuck could actually be?
Yeah. So besides being a strategy problem, it could be a systems problem, or you've outgrown the way you've been doing business problem, right? And it's like feeling invisible, even with content. Like even with creating content, you still feel invisible, hitting the same income ceiling over and over again and thinking like, how do I get out of this? And you know what? It's so interesting when I talk to business owners who are, in the seven figures trying to get to eight figures or the eight figures trying to get to nine figures. They're like, I how is that possible? How do we add a zero with government contracts? Like I don't really see that possible because this is what I've done every single time. And so what I try to help them understand is that it's just a habit. It's a habit that we just need to break free from. And so if you're not at six figures yet, cool. It's just a habit. So you just have to keep practicing it until it becomes a part of you. And the same thing for six, seven, wherever you are in revenue. And the same thing with your team. Like if you want to grow your team and you want to establish and delegate responsibilities so that you can stay in creation and like ideation. Yes, you need to do that. That's a no-brainer, 100%. Stop telling yourself you don't need it because you do. Um, but that has a lot to do with hitting the same income ceiling, and it's a systems problem or saying yes to things that drain you. At the end of the day, systems I have in my experience, in my opinion, systems have a lot to do with fear. Like there's a
Oh,
lack of confidence in believing that a system can help you. Maybe
Mm.
you've relied on and supported or relied on team members and you no longer have them. Maybe something happened, right? That's happened to me, right? I've hired an OBM, I've hired VAs, I've had actual part time and full time employees. And I've had situations where they didn't work out and I had to rework that confidence again that I can build the system again. Or maybe it's a client relationship, building a system about how to serve our clients, right? And so it has a lot to do with fear because once we unlock the ability to see what's possible and really believe it, trust it, there's no reason that a system cannot be built into your business to serve you and to serve others. Like I like to, and I'm practicing. A part of my affirmations is that I create win-win-win solutions wherever I go.
Mhm.
And it's really important to think like that for me because I want to think about strategy and systems. I don't want to be working so hard that I am not benefiting, but also I don't want to have someone else work so hard that they're not benefiting. Like it's how can we help everyone in ourselves and also move forward together is the systems problem. But really, there's a lot more myth busting that we want to do in the segment with you guys today. And comment below if you are, if anything of this is resonating with you, but if there are other thoughts that you're having. And during the segment, the next couple of minutes, we're actually going to talk through that in between Asia and I.
And feel free to go off script in the comments because Melinda has set the tone, which is the script is there, but sometimes you just have other things that you need to say. So if anything at all is coming to mind, go ahead and put it in the comments because we're live. That's what we're here for. But yes, I am a huge fan of busting industry myths.
Mhm.
Because they happen in every single industry. Also, hot tip, as you are, oh, hi, Becky, as you are positioning yourself in your industry as an expert, if you're like, I don't really know what kind of content ideas, I don't have any ideas right now, just think about the things that are wrong in your industry that people get wrong. It's a great way to position yourself as expert because it shows that like, no, this stuff's wrong and I'm going to tell you what's right. So that's what we're going to do right now. It's got a little
Oh
meta,
man.
but I just have four. I mean, I have more than four, but I want to talk about four kind of branding myths that I see all the time. And again, I blame corporate America for a lot of these. But the first one, and I think is probably like the most detrimental in terms of how we build our brands, is the myth that branding is about controlling the narrative about
Ooh,
yourself if you're building a personal
yeah.
brand or your business, right? The truth is, we cannot control what other people think about us. Like, if we could control everything, that would be great. But we can really only control ourselves, which
Yeah.
means when it comes to brand building, the way that we get people to feel a certain way about us or our businesses is literally just to do and say and share the things that actually make people feel the way you want them to feel, like
Mhm.
genuinely, right? No,
Yeah.
not with manipulation, not with fakeness. Like, don't make it weird. You just show up the way that you want to be seen, and people will see you that way for the
Mhm.
most part, right? And if they don't, that's okay too. There's like 8 billion people in the world. We're just after the people who are right for us, right? Our
Yeah.
ideal clients. The second myth is that your brand is like this perfect, polished, professional version of you, or somehow like a separate entity sort of outside
Mhm.
yourself, like a shell that's around you. But the truth is, your brand is just you, but like a refined version of you. We need
Mhm.
to remember that our brands aren't for us, they're for our ideal clients. So you need to think about which parts of yourself will most benefit others. And then how
Oh,
can you
so good.
package all of them up to make those benefits easily understandable and accessible to them? That can take some time and it takes strategy. Obviously, that's why it's called brand strategy, but it really is quite simple, right? We pick the parts of ourselves that will benefit other people, and then we package those up for those other people. Again, in a genuine way, not in a manipulative
Oof.
way.
Yeah.
The third one is that since brand strategy is such an investment of time and energy and money, it should come last, right? We build the business first, we let the business do the things that the business does, and then we focus on our brand. This is nuanced, right? It's going to depend on your own journey and how much time you have to dedicate. And sometimes our businesses just explode out of nowhere and we're like, oh no, like what is going on here? I didn't predict this. And that happens too. But if you are an entrepreneur with an actual vision, with an actual mission, figuring out your brand strategy sooner rather than later is going to make achieving that mission a lot more efficient. The process is going to be so much more efficient because you're not going to waste your time on side quests and shiny objects. And, you know, if we're back in the kitchen, putting things into bowls that have nothing to do with the actual recipe, right? They're not actually relevant. So knowing what you're doing and who you're doing it for and how you're doing it differently and why any of it matters in the grand scheme of the world, those things are going to guide your business decisions toward your actual mission, because that's the whole point, is what are we trying to achieve and what things do we do and say in order to actually achieve it. And then the last one I'll say is that a strong brand is like, people think of a brand as, oh, it's just a tool that helps your business like grow and make more money. And that is true. A brand can and will probably, if you've done it effectively, make your business more profitable. But even more than that, for us visionary entrepreneurs, is it makes your business more impactful. So like we're in business to solve problems, right? We're in business to provide a service to help people. And we do not care how cliche any of that sounds because we are visionary entrepreneurs, right? But if you want to actually make a difference in the world with your business, in addition to making a profit, you need a brand, because your brand is what is going to get people to be part of your mission, to feel part of your mission. It's what's going to attract the right people to your business. So I'll stop at 4. I could go on, but we'll stop at 4. I feel like those ones are really the 4 that I see most often that hold people back from building a brand at all, but also building a brand in a strategic way. But I'm going to shut up now because, again, I could keep going.
No,
but Melinda,
this is
I
so good.
know that
I would
you
love to talk more
got
about brand strategy because what you said, it's just so good. Like you guys, so good to hear this because, I think, I think for the ex corporates, that still have some corporate residual, that's my term that I've created, corporate residual, because it's like we believe that the brand should look a certain way, and it has a lot to do with aesthetics or like the colors and the fonts and this and that. But no, it has a lot to do with the feeling and in the emotion, the connection. And so I love everything you're saying because it's you're a reflection of the brand. You're the character in the brand, but you are not the brand, right? And so I love that. It's just like, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You can just highlight the areas that will help people the most. And so it's just like I love what you're saying there. It's like it's just you but refined. It's like it's you but you're showing the best versions of yourself so that you can help people. And then also get accountability. Like let's just be real. Like that's
yeah.
an accountability factor. Knowing that you can just, okay, this is these are the people that I want to attract. So if I'm going to say that I want these types of people to be attractive, then I have to be the person that they're attracted to. Oops.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, it's so true. It's yeah, I could go on forever, but I love
Yeah.
what you said about like you are the brand is a message we see a
Mhm.
lot. And no, like you are a person with a brand. You
Yeah.
have a business and that business has a brand. You are not the brand, because if you are, that it robs you of your humanity. It doesn't allow you
Mhm.
to be flexible and adaptive and change your mind about stuff after you get new information, right?
Oh,
It doesn't allow you to be the human that you are. You can also replace brand with reputation if that makes it easier, right?
mm.
You are not a reputation. You're a human who has a reputation. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'll
So
shut up because
good.
I could go on.
All right. I could go on for like a gazillion years about government contracting and marketing and strategy because that's like I love strategy. I love business models. It was something that we were geeking out about. We're like, we love business model. But some of the myths that I hear constantly is that um, one thing actually is not on this list, but I'm going to say it because it's timely. Is that you need to be a minority business owner to win government contracts. And that
Oh,
couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah, 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 Asia. Yes. I had
yeah.
someone tell me that, and it was like, why do you think that? Well, because people are pushing a requirement to win a government contract. Like you have to have a certification, you have to be a minority owned business. And that is further from the truth. You know, if you're in the United States, you live in the United States, or you follow the dramatics, the soap operas that are going on here in the US with the government, that is not showing or highlighting the best parts of government, like the school systems and the
Mm.
bus systems and the train systems and the roads and bridges, the hospitals, the like the city halls, the courthouses, the amphitheaters that are in your town where you get to build experiences with your family. There's so many things. Like during the holidays, they may decorate the downtown area with Christmas lights and wreaths and have live music. Those are all government contracts. So they don't need to be certified, or the contractor doesn't need to be certified to win those contracts. They just have to be a business. They just have to be a business.
Oh.
So simple, right? So this is what I love sharing with people is how we're creating limitations in our own mind. Oh, here's another one. It's too complicated. It's too complicated. I don't want to deal with the red tape. Oh, they want all this paperwork and sign this and notarize that. Listen, I here one thing that I'm focusing on in 2025 is who I surround myself with. And I'm really cautious about what information I'm consuming
Mhm.
because that is manipulating an idea. I'm saying it now, like a, a- audaciously. I'm saying that because it's true. It's really important. If you're listening to music or TV that is not going to be pushing you or propelling you forward in your life, in any of your goals, your business goals, your life goals, your health and nutrition goals, your relationship goals, don't consume it. Right? Don't consume it because it's going to slow you down. It's kind of like driving a car on E. You're just like,
Mm.
it's gonna stop eventually. But if you don't have the right fuel in the tank, it's not gonna take you very far and you're gonna hate the journey there, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
so stressful, beating, sweat down your face. So it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Government contracting is probably one of the most simple, direct paths to wealth building, like financial wealth building. And the reason why people stay away from it or run away from it is because of the word government. See, if I said anything else, if I said it's like pen contracts or like water contracts or like bowl contracts, you'd be like, yeah, Melinda, I want them. And so as soon as I say government, you're like, I don't want to have
Ew.
anything to do with that. Yet the US government is the biggest buyer in the world, spending trillions of dollars with contractors, or AKA contractor would be a business. And so what I share with people, or would like love to share with the audience, is that it's not complicated. We're believing it to be complicated.
Mm.
If I looked at the paperwork and having to help so many clients, start their journey in government contracting, there's actually less paperwork in getting registered and submitting a proposal compared to buying a house. There's more paperwork involved, more process, more red tape, more time associated with buying a house. And at the end of it, you still have to pay. Whereas a contract is given to you and you make money. Like it's this craziest thing. But I go back to is who you are surrounded with. Like if you want to be wealthy in finances, focus on connecting and growing with people wealthy in finances. If you're looking to be healthy, focus on being around people who are healthy. If you want to be focused on building a solid brand, focus on being around people who have a solid brand. And this is like, if anything else that we're saying today is sticking with you, this is the piece that should stick. Is it will get you into momentum. It will help you clarify the thoughts that are just wasteful, right? The things that are just not supposed to be in your mind right now, and
Mhm.
focus on things that you're actually supposed to be doing or should be giving yourself permission to do because you're around like-minded people who are focused on the goal that you're attempting to achieve or trying to achieve. Last thing I'll say, and I know this is like weaves into mindset, but honestly, at the end of the day, I, my clients who are, the multi-millions, like the eight, the nine, and even the 10-figure businesses, they don't have a mindset problem. They're just like, we just want that.
Mhm.
They don't ask the question, well, can we get that? What can we get? They ask the question, how much do we want? And so I
Oh.
noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that about the more wealthier financial clients is they're not asking for permission to go get something that's completely free for them. They're just going to get it. Whereas like, my clients who are just establishing and building their business and they're building their book of business, they have some experience serving and delivering what they offer, they're asking themselves, well, how much can I get? It's the smallest little modification. But if
Mm.
I could put you, and this is uh, another plug is for my MDC community. This is why I have a community focused on helping both of those people be together so that it kind of like rubs off of each other. It's like, how can I help you? How you can help me, and we can grow together. So no matter where you are in your journey, don't be afraid. Like if someone is 10 steps ahead, cool, just follow them. If someone is 20 steps ahead, cool, just follow them because you'll get to your destination faster because they have paved the way for you. Last thing I'll say is that you don't need, this is a myth. This is a myth I've heard. Oh my gosh. You don't need a new business. You need a new way to move your business. So,
Oh, yeah.
whether you grow through a powerful brand, like what Asia's expertise is in, or expand with a stable contract, a government contract, like what I'm sharing with you. Your next level comes from alignment, not hustle, not trying to do everything or trying to have 10 different businesses, 10 different jobs, 10 of everything. No, simplify and scale. Simplify and grow in all areas of your life. It is crazy how this real this is, but it helps our brain focus and we move a lot faster than we think. Mhm. That's what really, and I want to talk about what moves the needle for people. Um, Asia, what do you think that is?
Um, okay. I feel like I want to respond to like every single thing you said, but I won't. But I want to. But
Go
I won't.
ahead.
But
Do
okay,
it. Do it.
just what you said about like just being aware of what we're consuming, the
Mhm.
information that we're consuming, it's so difficult. There's information everywhere all the time, whether we want it or not these
Yeah.
days, honestly. Because like even if your phone's off and your computer's off and you're reading a book, someone could walk into the room and be like, "Hey, did you hear the news?" And you're like, "No, I don't want to know the news. I don't want to." But it's when it comes to our mindset at all,
Mhm.
it does make a huge difference what we are consuming, what information we're consuming. So I just wanted to say I'm really glad that you brought that up, because since we have information coming at us all the time, it's
Mhm.
takes like effort to have those boundaries and put up those filters and those barriers so that we can stay focused on what we're actually trying to do here. So I just wanted to say thank you for bringing that up too. But yeah, let's talk about what actually moves the needle. Now that we've discussed like what does stuck actually look like and what are some myths that might be keeping you stuck, like, okay, great, but what do we do with that? Um, so from a branding perspective, there are a few things that actually move the needle. The first one is truly, truly, madly, deeply understanding the problem you solve on like a very intimate level. And I'm not just
Yeah.
talking about the technical problem that you solve.
Mm.
If you have a business where you are working with other humans, serving other humans, you also need to understand the psychological effect that that has. I'm not saying you need to be a psychologist by any means, although it would probably help to like learn some stuff about
How do you feel
psychology.
today? Tell me more. What does that
Right.
what comes up for you? Yes, this
Yeah.
is totally a marketing strategy and brand strategy. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, the psychology matters, and that also comes to when you're solving problems. It's not just like what effect does this have on your ideal client's life from a from a real life, like external example, the things are happening, but like how are they feeling about it and how do they want to feel? Those things are very important to know. The second thing, and this is like my favorite completely underrated branding technique ever, is to get really pissed off that the problem exists. Get
Oh,
really mad that
yeah.
people experience this problem. Get really mad that society enables this problem, whatever it is for
Mm,
you, right? Get mad that this problem exists in your community when it would be so easily like solved.
yeah.
So get mad about that. That's like my favorite branding technique. And if getting mad isn't your style, maybe you could get frustrated or something a little less angry. But for me, getting pissed off is a good one.
That's
Becky
awesome.
says I'm so good at pissed. Yeah, because it's like we're trying to fix stuff, right? Like shut up and pay attention to me because I can help you solve this problem. And then once you have those things, then we need to figure out, okay, well, this is the problem. How am I set up to help solve this problem? And that
Mhm.
just means really being honest about all of your knowledge and experiences and methods and education that you've gotten, and really just your expertise. Admitting to yourself that you're brilliant, and then
Mhm.
packaging all of it up so that you can claim a really unique position in your industry. Because you're probably not the only one who solves the problem that you solve, but you
Yeah.
are the only one who solves the problem like you solve the problem. So the better grip
Mm.
that you have on what that actually looks like and means, the better you internally understand it, the better you can externally communicate it so that other people understand it. So they're like, okay, well, I could work with a lot of strategists. I could, you're not the only person, Melinda, who's helping people score government contracts, but
Right.
you want the people who want you. You want the
That's
people who
right.
are like, it could be anyone, but it has to be Melinda because I love the way that she communicates. I love her personality. I love the stuff that she says. I love how she changes perspectives. I love that she's on time. I love that she's organized. Right? It has to be Melinda. So that's really what it means when I say to position yourself in your industry and really claim that you have a unique position in your industry. And then the
Yeah.
last step to actually moving the needle is to take all of that and put it into a really cohesive message that you can share and you feel confident sharing over and over and over and again until you're absolutely sick of it. And then you have to share it some more so that the people who have the problem you solve will
Mm.
understand how you are uniquely set up to help them understand it. So, from a branding
Mm.
perspective, those are the things that are going to help you move forward.
Ooh,
I know I
you
got a little
know,
sweaty there.
where you're like, I just love how you love people. I just love how you love people, Asia. You give it all. You give it all. The blood, sweat, tears. Literally, it's
Literally, this
awesome.
really is what I'm not crying or bleeding yet, but we're not done yet. But tell me from your end, from
Yeah.
the systems perspective, the
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
perspective, the growth perspective, what's going to help people get out of like I'm stuck mode?
Yeah. 100%. Before I get into it, I want to say two things. First is recently I figured this out. So I don't like repeating myself. How many of you like to repeat yourself? I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Probably no one, right? And I didn't understand it had nothing to do with me, right? And so I'm like, I'm repeating myself because that's what my coach said to repeat myself. And then I heard my coach repeat herself. And she was repeating herself on a couple of things. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before. But I was a different person when I heard it.
Oh,
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 it's
yes.
like it
Yes.
is crazy. It's like your mind just kind of opens up and it's like, "Whoa, because I'm in a different spot in my life." I mean, it could just be a day different. It could be, just something transformative, a thought, an experience, something happened, and that information that they heard you say is now going deeper and deeper into helping them, right? Because before it was just words, and now it's a feeling. So, I just wanted to,
Yeah.
like,
Oh my
touch on
gosh.
that for a second about branding. It's like, if
Yes.
you feel like I have said this a gazillion times, why isn't anybody remembering it? Keep saying it. You need to say it
Yeah.
for your audience because they're going through a transformative experience right now to get ready for you. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of like shout out a couple of people. Cycle Breaker on YouTube, you're doing amazing. I
That's
love it.
Becky. Yay.
She's like, I hate it too. Repeat, repeat. I don't want to repeat. Love it, love it. I want to shout out Dory. Dory is like killing it on Facebook. Michelle Young, thank you so much for being here. Cami James, what's up? She says, we were talking earlier and she said, who you surround yourself with matters. It determines your level of success personally and professionally 1 gazillion%. I love that, love that, love that. So
So
I
cool.
wanted to, yeah, I mean, just like we're around the right people. I love that we're attracting the right people. And you see, like we're just having a little bit of fun, leaning into who we are.
Right.
And the system that you create and you serve and you offer to your audience, to your clients, it's not going to look like anyone else's. I hear a lot about competition. Competition. It's like, oh, well, government contracting, there's a lot of competition. Or
Mhm.
in business, everybody's doing the same thing. Why would they want it from me? And guess what? They're not looking for it from anyone else. They're looking for it from you because you have the secret sauce. You might not think it's a secret because you know about the secret. It's kind of like you own the speakeasy, right? You're not going to the speakeasy. It's a little bit of a different perspective. And that is why we need to lean into that system and share that system with people who will resonate with us and understand how we think our stories and see that, wow, what she said, what he said was really compelling and is moving me forward. And so it's the same strategy actually in proposal. This is a little bit of a value add here. If you're writing proposals for government contracts or even corporate contracts, your system is the thing that they're going to buy. There's a gazillion competitors, no matter who you're selling to. It's your system that they're going to buy. And so in government contracting, an example, one of my clients, and she came to me, she had a six-figure business. She found an RFP for $1 million contract. Asked me, she says, should I go after this? And I said, sure. You want to talk about it? Let's go over it. We went through our process, a little checklist that we have. And at the end of that, she's like, "Well, I guess I could take a shot." And she's like, "I really would like to win this one." I said, "Sure, let's do what we can." And it was about emphasizing her system. She won that contract, by the way.
Nice.
And so, like, she won a contract in less than 30 days, valued at $1.4 million for her
Wow.
six-figure business, right? 150K a year. So it's why? How? It's not that she had a portfolio of millions of dollars. It's not that she's ever worked on a project or served on a project that big before. No. It was because she had a system and she understood the pain, the emotional pain that was tied to the solution that she was offering. And I mean, her and I worked really strategically well on emphasizing what that meant for the buyer. That's ultimately how it ended up. It was a perfect equation. Her competition, 11 competitors, 11 competitors,
Oh.
all with established teams, like teams. And she's a solopreneur, party of one with her little experience, always a subcontractor. And now she's a prime on $1 million contract. How did that happen? That happened because she was strategic. She was
Mhm.
intentional. And so it's like the offer that seems like it's solving a real problem. It's all about how you package it strategically. So, offer, if you guys aren't familiar with that term, an offer is just like what you're delivering, right? We sign offers all the time. We go to a restaurant, we're buying the offer on the menu. We're going to a store, we're buying this offer that they have for the price. So an offer is just the offer. It's like what we are offering to our customers and our clients. And so the offer that you would provide at government contracting is exactly what they're asking for. They ask for that, and it's so cool transparently. They tell you how much it is, right? Like, I'm going to pay you $1 million for your services. And it's like, this is what we want in these services. And you say, yes, I can provide that. And here is how I deliver it or how my business delivers it. There's opportunity, endless opportunity there. There's endless opportunity in confidence. So marketing is a momentum. It's like it complements the branding. One thing that Asia, you and I, we heard a gazillion times, isn't marketing branding, branding marketing? Or people will confuse the two, and it's not the same, right? It's not the same.
Yeah.
Branding is like, well, you tell it your way, and then I'll talk about marketing.
Yeah. So, I mean, like we've already talked about your brand is really just your reputation, right? So your branding is everything that you put out into the world to help shape that reputation. So, when you think about visually, yes, that can be a logo, that can be your colors, that can be your design, but it's more than that. It's how you make people feel. So anything visual in your branding is to bring on an emotion, not the other way around. So yeah, it's really just how people feel about your business.
Mm-hmm. And marketing, it's so let's break the word down again. So like marketing is a market. So almost going to like a farmer's market, it's just your stand with your products and your services. And you're saying, I, the brand, have this thing to offer you. And this is who it's for. This is who it's for. If you like pina coladas, I don't know why I thought of that, but pina coladas, then here I have all the ingredients and the mixer to do it. If you like protein shakes, I got that too. So it's just showcasing how you can help people
Mm-hmm.
beyond like the identity of a brand.
And now I
So
want
it
a
works
pina
together.
colada.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. um,
you like pina coladas? Are you
I
a
mean,
pina
sure, I'll
fan?
drink a pina colada. Why not? If you have them in your stand, yeah, I'll take one. But yeah, it can be confusing, marketing and branding, because they are very closely intertwined. But yes, they
Mhm,
are two different things. So I'm glad you brought that up.
mhm. So cool. So yeah, so like, and then the last thing I want to share with you is that government contracting is a stabilizer. A lot of people, cycle breakers like margaritas. Yes,
Margaritas are good
100%.
too. Yeah.
Oh man, so we're having a margarita party soon. Just comment below if you want to come. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But so government contracts are a stabilizer. A lot of times I hear from startups, that are leaving corporate America and starting their business and saying, I just want to start winning government contracts. And I hesitate. And the reason why I hesitate is because it's an added value to have consistent revenue when you have expertise. Like if you're really good at
Mm,
what you do and in a job, and then you transition to a business and you're just providing what you did in a job, then 100% that makes sense because you're just continuing that journey. But if you're starting a business from scratch, you've never provided those services, you have no idea how to even deliver the thing, and you want to get into government contracting, I would recommend not. Because even though it's just an accelerant to how to grow a business, can also hurt you in the process.
oh.
It hurt you, yes, because it's like a small little world. The bigger in terms of money you get, the smaller the community gets, and
Mm,
so they all know each other. It doesn't matter if they're in a different country, a different state, county, whatever. They all know each other. They all like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. They all know each other. And so if they have a bad experience with you, and say I'm in a different agency and I'm like, hey, I've never even written an RFP for this. How would you do that? And they say, well, you know what we did, but we had a really terrible experience with ABC company,
mm.
and I think they actually have an office in your, then that becomes something like you're on their hit list. Like you're like, and it's real. It's a real thing. So this is why I kind of avoid bringing people into government contracting so soon, first and foremost, it's important to understand the basics of business,
Mm.
right? So, having an offer, how do you create the offer? How do you do pricing, right? This is why we created the business clarity program, so that we're walking through, or my team and I are working through the basic steps of how to create a business, how to establish it, and then how to launch it properly. When you walk through that entire customer journey, not your business journey, customer journey, and you can deliver excellence, then you're ready for government contracting, because then sky's the limit. But that's my own opinion, from having done it, over a decade, with billions of dollars, billions upon billions of dollars, for my clients. So, real talk. So, like, if we're stuck, okay, we're going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. Please comment below and let us know. Again, we are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And this is so cool that we're having such a great conversation. But just like real talk, if you're stuck, we're going to share with you right now what to do.
Okay, if you feel stuck internally, well, you probably are. If you feel stuck, you need to start internally, right? Let's be honest. Doing more things isn't going to help. You have to get clear inside first. Brand strategy, like I said, is a really, really good place to start, because that's the thing that's going to help you determine where you're going, right? Like we talked about before, that's your recipe. What kind of cake am I making? Okay, great. Now I know how to make it. Now I know what ingredients I need. You can't just start moving and expect to get to where you're trying to go if you don't know where you're going. Duh. But I feel like it needs to be said, because so often we get caught up with, oh, I need to do all these things and I'm so busy and I have all this external pressure and I need to be productive. But it's like, okay, yes, but where are we going? So from a brand strategy perspective, my advice is to really get very specific on 4 things. The first thing is exactly what you do. And there are people who are going to be like, no, I refuse to do that because I'm multi-passionate and I can help people in all of the ways. But I promise that's actually stopping you from reaching the people who really need your help, because they don't understand how you can actually help them, right? So we need to get specific on exactly what you do. When you develop your brand strategy as an expert, we're not trying to narrow you down to one thing. We're trying to bring in all of the things that make you an expert in a way that means one thing to your ideal client. So it's a subtle distinction, but it's a big deal, because it means you don't have to leave parts of yourself on the table, right? We take it all up and we package it all up. So that's the first step. The second step is to figure out exactly who you're doing that thing for. And yes, I'm talking about your ideal client. And no, I'm not sorry, especially if you're like, I've already done all the ideal client work. I don't care anymore. I don't want to do it. My clients are entrepreneurs. That's not good enough. We have to know who they are, because we have to know what they want. We have to know, most importantly, who they want to be and how your solution to their problem can help them become their ideal self. So you got to get clear on the psychology of who that person is. The third thing is how you do what you do differently than everybody else, because that's what's going to help you build a unique brand. There are so many people doing the exact same thing as you. It's not what you do that makes you different. It's how you do it. So figure that out. If you're like, I have no idea, little hint, it probably comes down to your signature method, right? Because that is your how. And then the last thing to figure out is why any of it even matters in our vast universe. Like we feel so small and insignificant, but really we can make a big impact when we are strategically aligned. So your job is to figure out why your solution matters. And this can be hard, especially for people in luxury industries, because you're not saving lives, right? But you don't need to save a life in order to change a life. And a small change can make like a huge difference. One really good analogy that I like is like getting a pair of shoes that actually feel comfortable on your feet. Like that can change your entire day, your entire life, because you're not constantly in pain. Because how often are we on our feet, right? So these little things can make a huge difference in people's lives, and it's your job to figure out what that difference is going to be. And so it's really just those 4 things. And if that seems like really simple compared to how absolutely stuck you feel, that's because it is simple. Brand strategy is extremely simple. It's not easy. It takes time and energy, but it is extremely simple. So bring it down to those 4 things. And like Melinda said earlier, like stop consuming stuff. Just like sit in one spot with like your journal or your voice memo and just get really clear on that stuff. And then that's going to help you figure out which external actions to take. What do you think, Melinda? Real talk, if people are stuck, like what should they do from your perspective?
Get clear. Just get clear on how you want to grow. You don't see, you just need to get clear on the path, right? And it's going to take time to get there. It will take time. Branding will take time. Government contracting will take time. Building a business will take time. Creating systems will take time. It takes time. We have to start somewhere. So instead of asking the question, when am I going to get there? How about we just focus on how clear are we on the path? Like, are we going to make a left? Are we going to make a right? Are we going to take I-95 or the turnpike? Like, get really, really crystal clear on that.
Sorry, my dog is trying to get
dog?
in and I locked her out and she's like, let me in. It scared me. Sorry.
That's hilarious. I think I saw her and was like, what's going on? So hold on a second, bud. But just like get clear on like, if you're going to do organic marketing, creating high ticket offers, government contracting, whatever it is, just get clear on what you do. And I love that, I want to talk to the other multi-passionate entrepreneurs out there who are just like, I want to do it all. Here's the thing. She says, this is so my problem, Melinda. You speak Becky.
You speak Becky.
Multi-passionate is like the biggest, it's the gift. It's a gift. I remember working with someone in corporate America and she was a blabbermouth. Like we've all had blabbermouths in our lives. And I loved her. I loved her dearly because I was just like, man, you're just such a good person. She really cared about people. She just loved to talk about people. And it wasn't in like a malicious way. She just wanted to share, just like, how can we help people? And I remember something, I wanted to share some really good news with the entire office. And so instead of like sending an email and putting up flyers and all this stuff, I just told her. I was just like, hey, this is great news. Shouldn't everybody know this? And she was like, yes. She told everyone and everyone's excited because that's what she was really good for, right? That's what she was really good at. So instead of thinking of our multi-passionate part of us as a bad thing, we just need to put it in the right perspective. That is a very valuable thing. And what I'd like to do, this is something I practice, is writing it all down. I create like a circle. I can talk about this on a separate time, but like create a circle. I put myself in the middle, and then every single idea I put around me, and then I figure out how is it going to tie to how I can serve people. Because here's the thing that I've learned is that every problem is going to create a new solution, and every solution is going to create a new problem. We all have the latest version of iPhone, the latest this, latest that, because there was a problem that we solved with that new thing. And so it's not bad that we're multi-passionate. We just have to understand the order, the sequence of delivering the thing that we want to deliver. And so if you have an idea to write a book, great, write it down. Okay. If you have an idea to create a course, great, write that down. Write everything down. And then you consider, how is each piece going to flow into the next thing? Once you understand the order of things, it just transforms everything. And you're going to be grateful to be a multi-passionate because now you have solutions to things you didn't even know you needed to create one, right? It just came to you. And those that are struggling with one offer, you have a gazillion offers because you figured out the journey, the path for your audience, for your buyers to get the outcome that they're truly desiring. And so I say that with like all the passion in my heart is just like love yourself and allow yourself to be great in the right perspective. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. But we have to use our skills wisely so that we can make real impact and not get stuck and let other people know what and how they can work with us. So getting clear on how we want to grow, that's truly the real goal. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go back and like clip that so that I could listen to it like every morning. So really helpful advice about being multi-passionate too,
Mm,
and like what to do with all of that passion and energy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Oh, this is so good. Well, gosh, we're coming to the very end, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful for each and every one of you joining us here on YouTube, Instagram. We had a little technical. They dropped us at an hour, so that's something to get to know. Next time
Rude.
we have to stay under an hour. I know IG is like so, but and then we were on Facebook, so this is great. But
Yes,
just
thank you to
serving you
everyone who
guys.
came live. It's definitely
Yeah,
more fun with friends. So thank you
yeah,
for being here.
100%.
But okay, so wrapping up, also if anyone is still live and like has questions or wants us to
Yeah.
address something else, or if you have any advice yourself and with your own expertise for, if
Mhm.
people are feeling stuck, I would also love to hear that. But I will say that if you are not really sure what steps to take to become recognized as an authority in your space, I have a masterclass that teaches you the 5 core components that you need in order to brand yourself as an expert. So if you know that you want that for yourself, you want people to see you as the authority and the expert that you are, but again, you're back at being stuck on what to do, this is really going to help clear that path so that you know exactly where you're going and what to do to get there. So yes, it's a masterclass, and to be clear, like you're already an expert. This is not a masterclass that teaches you how to be an expert. This is a class that teaches you what you need in order to be recognized as an expert, so that other people see you that way. Actively branding yourself as an expert means that you are strategically and audaciously choosing to be known for one definitive thing, which is really how you build authority, right? It means that you're positioning yourself as the solution to one precise problem, and you're
Mm,
known for one very specific skill set, and even more than that, one very particular solution or outcome. So it
mm,
really means cohesion, not just internally for yourself, but also externally for other people, for your ideal clients.
yeah.
So not only are you going to feel really confident in what you're here to do and the impact that you're meant to make and the money that you're meant to make, let's be honest, but others will also easily understand who you are and how you can help them. And just like we talked about at the very beginning of this, that is crucial if you want to attract your ideal clients and again, make that impact that you want to make. So you can get that masterclass at asiador.com/masterclass. Oh, look at that. Melinda's already got it up there. What a star. Thank you for putting that up there.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna go to that because I think especially in the journey of business and growth, you always need to touch base with branding, right? It's an evolution, it's an identity,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
we go through so much transformation, so much change in life that it's not we have to give ourselves permission to become, right? Like whatever it is, just like
Mhm.
become, to transform and to identify that brand in us so that we can share it with other people and really help the ones that we're called to help. So I love that. Yeah, 100%. If you guys got to go, you guys got to go. Branding is something, and I'll tell you this, like it used to be that a business, like a corporation would have a brand. And now it's a completely different formula. And I know you know this, Asia. It's like, I mean, it's written everywhere on the walls. It's social media era of personal branding, of actually like the individual character who is emphasizing their identity out into the world and connecting with people on a more emotional level. So very cool. And what I want to share with you guys, if you're listening and you're thinking to yourself, okay, you talked about government contracting and starting a business, Melinda, and I don't really know what you do. That's why I'm going to go to the branding masterclass with Asia. I'll see you there. And also want to share with you that government contracting is probably going to be the buzzword for 2025 and beyond, especially for what's happening right now. There's a lot of efficiency, whether you like it or not. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about opportunity to transform and impact a community. And right now, they're making such cleanliness and organizations. There's so many changes happening that is going to impact a small business in a big way. Big way. Okay. So, this is the opportunity that you want to take advantage of right now to leverage what you're already doing and adding a revenue stream into your existing business. And so, what I like to do is share with you an invitation. I want to invite you to come to GovCon Millions. And so, what we do in GovCon Millions is I'll share with you my 5-step system on how I've helped my clients who are in a 5-figure, 6-figure, 7 and beyond business size, and they're adding zeros to the end of their profits. Like, it is insane what's happening. But more importantly, it is about the money and also the person that they become in the transformation. See, no matter what you're selling, there is some type of financial barrier or blockade that's in your mind. I already
Mm.
know this. We already know this because it was intentionally planted there by the system. But we're just unbreaking that. We're using their rules to win in life. And I want to share with you these secrets. I want to share with you how you can add a revenue stream that's consistent. I mean, some contracts, Asia, are 3 years, 5 years long.
Really?
You win a contract and it's renewable. It's like, can you imagine having income come, like just revenue every single month? Like, just
And
no matter
still
what's going
doing
on?
the thing that you love to do, right?
100%.
Like
Oh,
still
100%.
doing the stuff that you're
Yes,
really good at. Yeah, it's a win.
absolutely.
Like you said, it's a win-win-win.
Why would you not? Why would you
Yeah.
not? So, all right, I'm gonna say this. Hopefully, everybody gets it. I think so. You guys are all smart. So, the thing is that there's this looming idea that there's something wrong with the stock market, and anytime the market goes up, right, or the market goes down, there's an increase in buying behavior by the government. So, right now is a really good time. Like, I'm really excited about this because, like, right now is a really good time to get registered. Literally, it just honestly, it takes you like maybe it's your lunch break, okay? Drinking your Starbucks. And then you can look for opportunities and start bidding. I mean, just by the end of the month, you'll have several proposals submitted and you're done. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. And what it will do is unlock an entire world of wealth for your business. So I'm sharing that with you in GovCon Millions. And it's a half day masterclass. It is so much fun. Every time we just have so much fun. And there's takeaways and ahas and never there. Every masterclass is different. I say the same thing. Like I said earlier, I say the same thing, but a different transformation every single time. So I definitely recommend that you get on the list to secure your spot and allow yourself to understand and learn whether or not government contracts is something you want to add to your business, whether it's now you want to put the book on the shelf or whether you're ready to implement it in your business.
And
Awesome.
like now that we know that it's not complicated because you busted that myth, I'm like a
Nope.
lot more keen to learn more. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because I was like, oh, that sounds too complicated. But it's not, you guys. Melinda has busted the myth. It's not that
No.
complicated.
It's so easy for-profit businesses, actual business, not profits, but for-profit businesses is one of the simplest ways. And if you're a nonprofit, I'll share with you this because I think I saw Becky say that she was asking about nonprofits with government contracts. Yes, there are. However, I would start the route with grants for nonprofits.
Oh, okay.
Grants is funding for your projects. Government contracts is just like a client contractor relationship. It's a client business relationship. They're not funding your projects. You're delivering a service or a good. So those are the two differences between the two. But there's the endless opportunities because there's endless wealth to be taken. Wow. Okay. Woo! I'm excited. This is amazing. Does anybody have questions? Whoever's still here with us, we want to wrap up just real quick, but just wanted to answer any questions. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I want to shout out Becky. I mean, she is just like blowing it up on YouTube. I love it. Dory, Michelle, Cami, You guys just showed up live. I love, love, love this. Man, Asia,
I
we're
know
so
that is very
blessed.
awesome of you all. Thank you. And thank you,
Yeah.
Melinda, for hosting us today. This was a really helpful conversation for me. So if other people thought it was helpful, that's great. But like, I feel really helped. So it's a win. Just so many good insights. And I really appreciate sharing perspectives in our respective expertise, and it's always so cool when that happens and
Yeah.
to see all the parallels between the work. So so thanks for inviting me to do this and for hosting us today.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
I just got a thought and I need to share it. If
Okay.
you're getting a tug, if you're listening to this and you just listen to Asia and I totally geek out about strategy, and you're getting a tug at yourself and you're thinking, you know what, I do need to pull the trigger on this. And for whatever reason, you're holding back, go ahead and we are giving you permission to give yourself permission to move forward. See, the thing is, this is how life really works. This is the truth. We're going to tell you this because we learned this. Is that when you have an idea, when you have like this tug pulling you in a direction, and there is a barrier, there's just something that's in your way to get there, and you're trying to get on the other side of that. The only way to get there is by making a decision.
Mm.
That's it. That's it. You just need to make a decision. So you need to make a decision to decide that things will work out, decide that the opportunity will move you towards to your given path, decide that this is what I want. And so I am confidently staying in alignment no matter how much this fear is telling me not to. You have to move forward. That's the only way it works. Either you go in happily, you get dragged through it. It's just two options. I mean, that's what
No,
hurts
it's
about
so
that's what's so
true.
hard about life, right? It's so hard about life. We end up where we were supposed to go anyway because of gravity. But we do have an option to get there happily if we decide. And so just
Yeah.
make your life easier by making a decision. Come to the masterclass where Asia is going to share with you brand strategy so that you could accelerate your growth, build your business, go faster in transformation, not just your business transformation, but the people that you're called to serve. And also register for GovCon Millions because that's a good idea too. But at the end of the day, make a decision, regardless of whatever the outcome is, make a decision. And anytime you feel stuck, anytime you feel like things are just not working, I want you to assess what you haven't decided on. It may or may not be related. It doesn't really matter, but that's just how the world works.
Mhm.
So if there is something that you are delaying making a decision because the money's not there, the timing is not right, the this isn't there, this, that, whatever the external consideration is, just make a decision. Say, yes, that's what I want. No, that's not what I want. And move forward. You will move so quickly, guaranteed. Guaranteed by just making decisions. You'll get to your goal faster because you make a decision. It is the craziest thing, but it's the number one thing that you need to transform your life and your business.
Agreed. I concur.
All
It's the
right,
only
I'm
way.
really done. I'm really
Okay.
done.
Okay. Me too. Me too. Me too. I have a pina colada calling my name. So.
I have the rest of my protein shakes to. Oh man, this was awesome. Thank you so much, Asia, for just being here. I'm so grateful and honored that we got a chance to meet and connect and like-minded share this love with people that they're just like, I don't know what to do. And it's April and I want goals achieved. And it's like, here is the formula right here. We're given to you right now. Go fast, get there. And if you need us, you know where to find us. Yeah, we love you.
Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Melinda.
Thank you. Bye bye.